one of the childhood memories that I have the most when it comes to wrestling is you were a bit young at the time, but it's one of my favorite memories. Uh, I used to stay up every Saturday night till at least 2 a.m. because at 2 a.m. on the MSG network, which I don't even know if that shit still exists, they used to air the television program and syndication of ECW Extreme Championship Wrestling. Now, you know me, I was a big Monday Night War fan. That's the lineup was straight up Raw from 8 to 10, and then from 10 to, let me see, 11, 12, till 1 in the morning, I would watch the replay of Nitro. Excuse me, let me scratch that. I just realized what I just said. 9 to 11 was Raw. 8 to 11 was Nitro. So I would watch Raw from 9 to 11, and then from 8 to 11 on Nitro, at 11 they would restart Raw and replay it from 11, 12 till 2 in the morning. Right? So I'm watching wrestling from 9 p.m. to 2 in the morning every Monday before school. I'm watching all 6 hours, right? Or 5 hours, I should say. And then on Saturdays, I'll stay up to 2 a.m. because that's when they're going to do ECW. So I was watching all three companies each week, every week, for several years. Greatest time of my fucking life. Don't let my wife and son hear it, but those were the best times of my fucking life. Whatever the fuck they're doing in the next room is second to that lineup right there. Okay? And one of the biggest draws for me, I loved everybody on that ECW show. I mean, top to bottom. You all know the names. Rob Van Dam, Tommy Dreamer, Taz, Shane Douglas, the Eliminators, New Jack, Mustafa, or the team of New Jack and Cronus. Or you can go up and down the goddamn line. Just incredible. I mean, up and down the line. What a lineup. What a roster. One guy stood head and shoulders above the rest for me. One of my favorite ECW superstars of all time, Sabu. He was one of my favorites of all time, and I think the best way that I can describe it, you'll describe it for me, because you said you wanted to tie Sabu to our villain conversation. How were you going to do that?
Nope, you got that confused. I was referring to the main event of Backlash.
Oh, I thought, okay. Oh, that's what you meant by main event. Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
right.
I may have lightly, but yeah, I meant the pay-per-view, yeah.
Well,
not him.
I will
no.
I will tie
Although
it.
you can argue it still.
I'm going to argue it right now. I will tie it.
I was going to say, you can kind of low-key.
One of the descriptions you gave earlier, like of the Joker, about that chaos via chaos, just to see the world burn type of person, that was Sabu. Sabu, he became world champion, and he won tag team titles. But it always seemed like he won those titles by accident. He wanted to fuck the guy up. It just so happens when he fucked the guy up, they handed him a belt after. Like when Sabu and RVD were tag team champions, RVD kept winning matches, and Sabu kept killing himself. And Sabu would destroy himself and destroy his opponent, and they would just hand him a belt at the end of the match. I don't know if you remember any of their tag matches, but they used to have to stop Sabu. They used to have to calm Sabu down. Hey, the match is over. Now, fuck that. Like he was trying to eat his opponent. There was an element. I don't know if you got a chance to see any of the clips I sent you, but I sent you, I think it was his debut was one of them.
When he came out on the stretcher?
When he came out on the fucking Hannibal Lecter look with the mask.
He did all
and
that
the
shit.
chains.
He got released, slid in the ring, and started with a heel kick. That shit threw me. I thought he was going to jump, punch, scratch. Nah, that did the spinning heel kick. I was like, oh, okay. This man really is crazy.
To the back of the head. Only this motherfucker in a fit of rage would do a wheel kick out of nowhere. It just to the back of the head. You just see Taz's fat ass just fucking face bump right there. Boom. He was I think to this day, I'll make an argument. To this day, I think there's never been a character where You didn't know his purpose. You didn't know his goals or his aspirations or anything like that, and you didn't give a fuck. You just wanted to see him be a ball of chaotic energy unleashed. Like that entrance that they did with the Hannibal Lecter thing, that didn't last very long, but it was a really cool visual for the character. And it got to the point where he was just coming through the curtain like a regular star. But even when he did that, when he had, like, for instance, Fonzie, who I had the pleasure of working with a few times, and he's one of my favorite guys to work with, and one of my, as a fan when I was a kid. He was one of, because he was so annoying with the whistle. I remember him annoying you with the whistle when we were kids. With the guy who just over and over, and sometimes you won't even be watching the video. I'll be watching the video, and you just hear the fucking whistle. You're like, what the fuck is with the whistle? And it was so funny because I remember you being annoyed by it. I remember Mom being annoyed by it, and then I remember when I finally got a chance to work with him, and he's blowing the whistle. And the funny thing is that when I worked with Fonzie, not to get off of Sabu, but when I worked with Fonzie, he was actually the baby face in that equation. I was the heel. So what I did, and because no one had ever done this before, and he told me this, no one's ever thought of this before, and I'm like, well, let's try it. I have electronic whistles in my house. You know what the electronic whistle? It's a push button. It's a push button. It takes the watch batteries, and you don't put it to your mouth. It's supposed to be a sanitary whistle. You push the button, and it makes a whistle sound. So my heel character was trying to convince Fonzie, you're living in the past. You're an old fogey. You're past your prime, and you're all. I'm talking to him. I'm 40 years old, by the way, and I'm telling him, like, you're this old relic and all this other stuff. I said it's even evident by your whistle. Look at that whistle. What is this? The 70s? What is this? Teen Wolf? Why do you have that whistle like that? He said, you need to upgrade. You need to come into the here and the now. You have to use today's technology. And I pulled out the electronic whistle. And when I tell you that audience hated the idea that I was coming after his whistle, that's how iconic that shit really was. And I always associated that whistle with two people, RVD and fucking Sabu. And he was so chaotic, and he would destroy himself in matches. One of the most infamous matches I could ever remember hearing about and then eventually seeing as an adult, he had a barbed wire match with Terry Funk, where the barbed wire dug into his bicep, just above the crease of the elbow on the inside of the bicep. The wire got into the muscle, and he didn't know because he's feeling cuts from everywhere. You can't tell exactly how deep what is what. And he goes to get out of the wire, and the barbed wire cuts into his muscle and lacerates the actual bicep. And the bicep is starting to hang from the arm. And when he gets out of the barbed wire, they're trying to get him to stop the match. He's bleeding like a maniac, and his fucking muscles coming off the thing. Sabu goes under the ring looking for something, and he comes out and he gets duct tape, and he duct tapes his fucking arm and finishes the match. So, another little known fact about Sabu is, do you remember Chris Benoit?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what his nickname was?
Mm-hmm.
What was his nickname?
See, now you put me on the spot. Why don't you just say what the nickname is? I fucking remember his nickname.
It was the Crippler. Remember the
yes.
Canadian Crippler? Well, he got that nickname because of Sabu. He gave Sabu an overhead, belly to belly, but he kind of hooked him like an exploder, like through the legs, and they mistimed it. Jump and lift wasn't at the same time, so when Sabu went over, he landed right on his head, and he broke his neck in the ring. I'll give you money if you can pick which one he did. Sell the neck and go home, or finish the fucking match. This motherfucker finished the fucking match. He was a goddamn sadistic fucking maniac. The audio that you hear at the beginning of this episode is me introducing him at an FTW show, Fight the World Wrestling. I got a chance to work with him. I got a chance to introduce him on a couple of occasions. I've called a match or two. I got a chance to actually speak to him backstage. Um, he was always really cool to me. I know people have their issues with him. He didn't have the best record when it came to appearing at shows. There was a lot of no shows on that record. Couple of favors he had asked from promoters, if you know what I mean, to do certain shows. But when he got there, he was a cool fucking dude, and he was down for just about fucking anything. It's so weird hearing the timing of his death. He just had a few weeks ago his retirement match. It was a barbed wire match with Joey Janela at Spring Break, whatever number 9, I guess, for GCW. That was supposed to be his final match. It was supposed to be his retirement deal. It was a barbed wire match with Joey, and to hear that he passed shortly after that, and on Mother's Day, I took wow, the end of the episode. There it is. Kaboom. Harangue. We took her to Hibachi for Mother's Day. Jesus Christ. Why did that get
now?
tied
See,
in?
if I say you playing that shit, I'll be wrong, right? Just saying. Just saying.
I just put that together now because when we were leaving the hibachi, that's when she told me, on my Facebook right now, they're saying Sabu died, and I checked it in the car, and it was true. And I was like, yeah. So, God damn it, the hibachi. That's where we went to fucking go eat.
God damn it.
I can't believe that just happened like that. Okay, if you're listening to this clip of just the Sabu story, then you have to go back to the Mother's Day clip to hear what we're talking about as far as the thing, or just listen to the whole fucking show. I don't know, but yes. So Sabu had passed on Mother's Day, which was a weird time. It's weird for everybody, but he was always cool to me. I got so much respect for the fucking guy, not just for what he's done for the business, but just for taking a guy like me under the wing and just fucking spreading that knowledge. All those ECW guys, to be honest with you. Tommy Dreamer, just incredible. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and name drop, but I've worked with a lot of the ECW guys. And, everybody except Balls Mahoney. Balls Mahoney gave me a problem, but everybody else was cool. Everybody else that I worked with is cool, and Sabu was right there. It was a privilege and an honor to have known him, and a privilege and an honor to have gotten a chance to work with him. Do you have any? I know the old ECW stuff you probably don't remember, but he did have a short time in WWE. Does any of that Sabu stuff ever really stick out to you?
No, I remember seeing him, like a lot of his ECW stuff with you.
The clips, the highlights and stuff.
I was young, man. I don't fucking recall that shit.
Yeah, you remember the whatchamacallit, the pointing up, pointing up to the sky.
The little taunt. I just, when you say Sabu to me, I just think someone who kills himself.
Wow,
like that's it. Like just someone who just goes in the ring and just like you have to peel him off the mat. Like there's nothing that, like you said, there's nothing going to stop him from finishing that match. It doesn't matter if his fucking head's hanging off his shoulders. He's finishing every spot that you're supposed to do in that match. And that's I mean, aside from other things, I would imagine that's kind of what like Paul Heyman was pointing at with what he said is like he should have went further if he just like took care of himself just a little bit better.
Yeah.
And outside of the ring, he feels like more people would have like
taken to him,
being able to enjoy his legacy, but his legacy is not going to be the same. But to his point, the reason why his legacy is what it is in that small group is because of who he was. So
yep,
it is what it is. He lived his life. I'm sure he has zero regrets.
Nope. He actually has a tell-all book where he fucking shoots on everybody, both good and bad, So, Terry, brother, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for everything you've done. Thank you for being awesome with me and letting me. That whole intro that you hear at the beginning of the episode, I really wanted to go balls out for Sabu because he's one of my guys. That's one of my guys growing up. I was just like, I really want to go balls out. And I remember asking him, I was like, dude, is there anything you want me to say? Anything you don't want me to say? And he just looked me right in the face and said, man, say whatever you got to say, brother. Just, just put me over, man. Just make it seem like I'm a big deal. I said, well, that's going to be easy. And that intro you hear at the beginning, that was all put together by me. I stole that, obviously, because it's not all my material. Um, Many ring announcers throughout the years have used very same stuff. I just combined some of the greatest hits from different people, including the death defying thing for him. That was the one that he liked the most. When that match was Well, when that show was over and he was selling merch and he was selling the shirts and stuff like that, the photos, and I walked by, I actually have a picture of me in that firehouse with Alex. Alex was at that show. Um, he couldn't have been no more than like, I don't know, 1 or 2 years old. He's like not even two, like 1 years old. Like he's in a onesie, right, wrapped in a blanket, and like Sabu is like playing with his little hand. And it's just like, oh my man, what's his name? I was like, this is Alex. He was like, oh yeah, man, is he gonna be hardcore? I said, I hope the fuck not. but, but he laughed.
Well,
He laughed.
you
He's
got
like,
your
yeah,
wish.
yeah, he's not.
He is not
He's
hardcore.
not hardcore. You can't tell this kid shit, man. If I don't have juice for him, he has a fucking conniption. Now,
I
he's the.
respect it.
So I said I want my chocolate milk and I want it in a no glass. and and so Terry, well wishes, man. It's still tough to hear, but it is what it is, man. You live that life. I think I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling because when you live that lifestyle, it's almost like the clock's ticking, right? Like it's like at any minute. He's one of those people where you're kind of expecting that phone call at any minute. And I'm not on the list of important people. I'm not getting the phone call, but the text message that I got from people and all that stuff. My wife was the one who broke the news to me, but later in that day, as everyone started finding out, you're in the social network of the wrestling game, and you're getting messages, you're getting people tagging you to things. So it just happens that way. So rest in peace, brother. Thank you for everything you've done. We'll be back next week, and right now I would like to go ahead and end this episode in tribute to Sabu with the 10 bell salute to our fallen friend, our fallen warrior, our fallen brother, Mr. Terry Brunk, aka Sabu. We'll see you next week.